What's up, JEFusion fans? This is Philip, and welcome back to another video. So, I've been busy these past few weeks, so it's nice to be back uploading again. So, anyways, let's talk about this week's superhero time with Kamen Rider Gav and number one Sentai Gozyu. So, first off, I want to talk about Kamen Rider Gav because, well, we kind of see Kamen Rider Bake today, or not today, at least whenever you're seeing this. Anyways, so Kamen Rider Bake makes his grand debut, and judging from the past 2 weeks, because last week, or like last Sunday, like the day before yesterday. So anyway, this is a Monday. I'm recording. So there was no superhero time, so it was on break. So like a couple episodes ago. So yeah, so the last episode was actually 2 weeks ago. But now we actually see Kamen Rider Bake in action, and I gotta say, the design is meh. It's not technically bad, but obviously it's a recolored Bitter Gav suit, or at least the Bitter Gav armor, with the main difference between like the bodysuit, the belt, and the fact that Suga Zaddy transforms using the Bake Buster, which is a modified Valen Buster. So yes, it's not necessarily a spoiler at this point because the previews have been out for a couple weeks already. So if unless you haven't been catching up on the latest Gav episodes, or you haven't even seen the show yet at this point, well, sorry about that. But yeah, so Kenzo Suga is Kamen Rider Bake. Well, obviously. So he was able to transform using, like, I forgot the name of the gochizo, but it is based on like a chocolate chip cookie. So he was able to get his own gochizos thanks to Bitter Gav. So, yep, we finally confirmed that connection, although, it's been um, kind of out there even before the grand reveal. So 2 weeks ago, Hanto finally found out that Suga and the Bitter Gav clones, yes, there are still many of them. So they do work together, or rather, he did in fact create those clones, and he's using them to create these new gochizos, which is how we came with the chocolate gochizo that Hanto used to become Valen, bitter Valen, I guess. So chocolate form. So yeah, so that's how it all went down. So a couple of other important scenes here. So focusing on Hanto a little bit. So he already finds out like the main reason that he became Valiant in the first place. It was all Suga's setup from the get go. So Suga's goal is to basically, I don't know, like create the ultimate anti, I don't know, like Granute. He, even though he's been working with the Neil for some time, like I'm not really sure about Suga's end goal, but nonetheless, he explains to Hanto that, well, you want revenge for your uh, mother and your mentor, right? So I gave you the power. And I need results from my experiment, so it's a win win situation. At least that's how he tries to put it. And because he has been using Hanto as a test bed for his experiment, so he was able to eventually create the Bake Buster and transform into Kamen Rider Bake. And even Suga actually admits that he wanted Hanto to basically become Bake because, uh, like, his reasoning is that, well, Bake is stronger, so he actually wants to make Hanto stronger uh, at some point. So that's how he originally went about it. But again, how he found Hanto, or how he came like across Hanto in the first place is that he was trying to look for a suitable host or a suitable experimental subject, and it turns out that he has gone through several failed experiments. Guess what happened to them? Well, that's something for you to find out within the show, but yeah, eventually Suga comes to know about Hanto, and then he says like, how can I get Hanto to come to my lab to be experimented on? So basically, this is how he came about his plan of, you know, like even using his Hanto's mentor became the bait. So yeah, again, like I've said, this was Suga's plan from the get go. So, of course, driven by revenge, Hanto, eventually agrees to get experimented on, like had this uh, organelle implanted in him, a granule organelle that, again, mutates him and allows him to transform into Kamen Rider Valen. And thanks to this experiment, basically Suga was able to make a quote unquote safer way to transform. Yeah, quote unquote, because there is still some side effect when Suga transformed, and you will see. I'll let you see it in the episode, but yeah, so there was still a side effect in transforming. So again, by using Hanta as a test bed, so Kenzo was able to create the bake system, transform into Kamen Rider Bake, and yes, the better Gavs are also able to transform into whatever Gochizo, Bake uses. Again, it's just a repaint of the costume, so the only difference again is the bodysuit and the fact that the bitter Gavs are wearing their own black Gavs, if you will. So yeah, that's basically it. But one of my favorite scenes in this episode is so Shoma actually takes Sachika to his grand uncle Dente because they find Hanto lying outside. So he's unconscious and needs help, of course. But seeing, but Shoma knowing that Hanto is not a normal human being and therefore cannot be taken to a hospital for normal treatment, so he initially plans to take Hanto to Suga's laboratory, but like, no, 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 he's not the guy you think he is, so don't go there, basically. So that's what Hanto tells Shoma. So Shoma, with no other choice, decides to take Hanto to Dente instead, and this is where, of course, Sachika meets Dente for the first time. Obviously, she's a bit shocked, but very soon enough, almost immediately, like she kind of accepts him. Like she gets used to him almost immediately, and yeah. So, so Dente is the one who checks Hanto, and yes, it is confirmed that the choco, the Gochizo, is kind of speeding up the mutation process inside Hanto, while it is making him stronger. So the mutation does put a strain on Hanto's body, especially on his heart, which kind of explains why he is in so much pain after using the chokehold. So Dente advises like not to use the chokehold until things get better at least. So this is where they call in Rakia, and yes, Dente basically is making a copy of the Rastan gear. So since he knows that it's Nilv's invention, so he's reverse engineering it to create another copy for Hanto to use. And we all know at this point that Hanto is going to transform into the Choco Frap custom. But seeing as Hanto isn't really like Shoma who can produce the gochizos, there is already an image of the next episode where Shoma gives Shoma and Hanto have choco fraps, and basically what happens is, or what's gonna happen next episode is, well, Shoma and Hanto share, right? Or they each have their own choco frap. Like, here you go. Like, I drink mine. So Shoma does take, or Shoma is going to be the one to produce the choco frap gochizo and give it to Hanto to enable him to transform into the choco frap custom. So by next week, so we kind of see Hanto becoming like a more definitive Kamen Rider, which uses a belt to transform. Again, like, I'm assuming that this is gonna be Hanto's main power up for the rest of the show, considering how unique it is. I do like the design of the Choco Frap custom. Well, I'm not really sure if I'm gonna buy the soda when it comes out, but again, in general, the Choco Frap custom looks really nice, like the red, brown, gold mixture. Again, it really does work. But that's already talking about the next episode. Now, again, so going back to my favorite scene, which I realized at this point, so I've gone way off topic, or way off the rails when considering what I wanted to do. But nonetheless, so we go back to Dente's cave, right? So there we were. Sachika, Dente, and Hanto. Actually, like, Choma's there. So they discover the chocolate gochizo, and like it starts running around, jumping in circles, and they try to catch it. So Sachika, in a bit of like epicness, closes her eyes, and then like a single drop of water shows her like zen clarity. And then when she opens her eyes, turns around and grabs the gochizo. Like, epic. Sachika's most epic moment ever. So, like, Japanese fans like immediately took those screenshots to Twitter, or X as it is called now. So yes, it is a reference to G Gundam. So to those who don't know G Gundam, I mean, like, if you're an anime fan in general, like, you should know G Gundam. So the main character, Domon Kashu, so like at least somewhere in the middle, so he masters this like skill called Meikyo Shisui. So to explain it a bit further, so Domon's Gundam, so the Shining Gundam, so it has a super mode which is only activated when Domon gets really, really angry. However, upon learning the Meikyo Shisui, or like clear mirror still water, so basically, like, he is actually a, like, when you get control of your emotions, and again, like, in that moment of serene clarity, it is actually like more powerful. It enables Domon to activate his Gundam's super mode while in a calm state, again allowing for more control, and at the same time it is much more powerful. So with that reference, they used it on Sachika for some reason, and they made the most epic scene in Gab so far. So I love it. So with that said, I'm gonna give Kamen Rider Gav I forgot the episode number, but anyways, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 just because of Sachika's scene. I love it. So moving on to go Juju episode 5. So this is a Sumino focus episode, and the concept of today's episode is like busybody number one. I'm not really sure how that's accurate if you translate it from Japanese. So basically, the Japanese word used is osekai number one. So when you say osekai is like how do you say, like you try to not necessarily help other people, like well, it is in a way like helping, but like you do volunteer yourself, like to be out there and actively help people, whether it's necessary or not. That's how I would translate, or how I would interpret the word osekai. But nonetheless, it's about Sumino. And for the past couple of episodes, like, we do know that she already has the Goji unicorn ring. Well, from the first episode, I mean, we already know, but she couldn't transform for some reason. So, to, I guess, give a better perspective, so Sumino's reason for becoming a Gojuger is that she is looking for a certain family member. Again, this is already mentioned in the previous episode, but we go into more detail as she reveals her own backstory. So again, she is looking for a family member, and she is kind of chosen to become Goju Unicorn, but there's something wrong with her emotions. There's something stopping her from actually transforming into Goju Unicorn. But like the moment she realizes like why she's fighting in the first place, so there you go. Like, that's who you are. That's what you really want to do. So, so now the Tega Sword does grant her the power to transform into Goju Unicorn, and she also transforms into Ryuso Red upon being given the New Soldier Sentai ring by Tokonatsu himself, who, if we remember, so in the previous episode, he actually defeats the New Soldier Universe Senshi and gets the ring. So he was generous enough to actually give Sumino the Ryu Soldier ring, and in case she still couldn't transform into Goju Unicorn, she at least has a Sentai ring she can use to transform and fight. But again, she is able to transform into Goju Unicorn anyway, and she also uses the Ryu Soldier ring in battle while wearing, the Goju Unicorn suit. So, yeah, it is a really nice introduction to Sumino's character. And there are actually like a couple of funny scenes here. So, when the Monster of the Week comes out, so of course the other Gojujers appear, and like Kinjiro, so brings out like a CD player, and pulls up a cassette tape and tries to play it with the CD player. So, like, oh my goodness, like, we're getting old type of moment here, because Sumino says like it's my first time actually seeing a cassette tape. Like, holy schmidt! Like, cassette tapes in this day and age. And one of the Rangers actually says, like, it's the first time she's ever seen one. My god. If you see that reference, like, oh my god. Like, you're hips will suddenly start to ache, especially if you're my age. My god, that realization. But other than that, again, like it is a solid introduction to Sumino, and really, like Maya Imamori's acting is so superb in this one. Like I really like her acting here. So with that said, Go Junior episode 5 gets a 5 out of 5. Again, that character introduction, her backstory, and the acting, like she really steals the show in my opinion. Like because it is her focus episode anyway, like it's just I don't know, like it's just natural that she is the main focus, but she really does so very well. She really did that episode very well. So again, Go Junior episode 5, 5 out of 5. So anyways, that's it for today's review of Superhero Time. Let me know what you guys think in the comments if you've seen the episodes already. So what do you guys think? So anyways, thank you so much for watching. As always, please do leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you get the latest from JEFusion. This has been Philip, and I'll see you next time. Bye.